Hello, and welcome ladies and gentlemen to the official second video of this channel. Today is another important topic, something that is forgotten by Roblox developers or never even learned in the first place. The biggest misconception out of every single myth, misconception, everything on this platform. What is the biggest problem? And I'm going to start with a story. Years ago, when I was working on projects, when I was still fairly young in my development career, but I was still decently known back then. The main priority I had, an opinion that I had when making a game, is that visual quality should surpass everything else. It has to have cutscenes, it has to have the best model quality able on the market, best VFX, map, animations, everything. And this was a requirement for me to actually make a good project. But this is false. If you want to make a top 1 percentile game, one of the best games on the planet, on Roblox obviously, of course, visual quality is a pretty decent aspect of it. But what is more important than quality that could be so important for a project to actually have? Gameplay quality. Gameplay quality is 100% and 1000 times more important than the visual quality of a project. Even though it looks visually pleasing, if it doesn't feel nice playing the game, where it's clanky, laggy, not inputting properly, or not resonating with the player base that you've built up, it's gonna fail. Look at ABA. ABA is not top 1 percentile of Roblox games in my opinion, but they're successful. Look at their player count. The moment they update, there are people that are still investing into their product. They're still buying the game passes, they're still playing the game, they're still leveling up. And visually, ABA is outdated. It still has the old models, the VFX they've been stepping up and revamping here and there, but I would still say that 90% of the game is outdated. But the combat system is good. It's fluent, it works. It's not that balanced in every situation, but it's better than what you might expect from it. And this is one of the reasons why it does so good. People hype up their game visually, but then the game turns out mid. I was pissed off at Type Soul at some point because the visuals were so lackluster. It didn't pop to me. I was like, I can do better than this. But the gameplay was still good in my opinion. It was successful. Doesn't matter if it's dead now. They made their money. They made their profits. You treat it as the same as a business. Imagine you're buying shoes, for example, and they look nice, they fit with the outfits, it's your style of shoes, they're expensive as well, and you invest into them thinking it will be amazing, and then you put them on your feet, but the cushioning is off, it doesn't feel nice on your feet, you start running and your toes start hurting, and it doesn't feel like there's a sole at all, a rubber sole, it just feels like you're running on the ground. That's the same concept I'm trying to convey over to you, because I feel like more Roblox developers should focus on the gameplay quality, the combat system, how the game progresses, how the player progresses itself. More non-linear gameplay than just, okay, you're gonna beat bandits for 12 hours straight, and then we're gonna go into PvP, which is a mid-system, because you get to press 4 buttons, and then they die. Like block shots. The game itself has some gameplay aspects that aren't that bad, but visually they've been doing very good with their revamps. Very high tier VFX. Their models are, you can't necessarily say that they don't look as good as other things because it's the style that they're going for. But the PvP is Z into C of Dragon Trident or some shit, and then you press V on your Dragon Fruit and they die. That's it. That's the PvP. Does that sound amazing? But they have 600k CCU permanently. They make millions by sitting on their ass. If they want to. Probably work on an update, I don't care. But the point still stands. And if you want to take it a step farther, something that's even more important than this is to match your visual quality with the gameplay quality. Not vice versa, like I mentioned. I would rather you focus just on the combat system of your game and make the models, as and animations kind of mid, so the player actually at least feels good playing the game, than the other way around, like I just mentioned. If you're stepping up to the 1% and you already have experience as an owner, or you just want to get into a game and focus on something to make it that top tier, 100% outside of management, monetization, the way you market your project, you have to think about both the visuals and the quality of the gameplay itself. And it has to match each other, because some games kind of throw this off as well. I feel like Blockstreet is putting too much time into their visuals, and it's taking their update way longer than it's supposed to, because you can click a button and then the move happens and then it's over. But it spent like, what, 3 weeks on like one thing? But it's over in 3 seconds, don't get me wrong. That's so... I don't even know what the right term is. It's just retarded, bro. I'm not even gonna excuse my language. If you can't take my language, don't watch my videos. And I want you to take this a step further when you're developing these games, when you're making these projects, and use references from things that already exist. When you're modeling anything, whether it's a face, anything professionally that's gonna be used in a project, I have 20 references of 50 different side angles of one person's face before I actually start sculpting it. If you're going to practice something, that's something on its own. If you want to challenge yourself and just use one reference, do it. But this is a game and this is not the sandbox, okay? That's one of the most important things people forget. And that's why games fail. That's why games fall. Fish's gameplay is unique. The models are also not the highest quality, but it fits with Roblox itself, because you don't really expect to see Elden Ring type graphics on a lot of these projects. But it's, to an extent, it's possible, technically. It's just that the gameplay is in such a way where people actually keep playing the game. It's not about being realistic on fishing, and I talked to one of my friends about this, because I don't know how many of you have caught fish and done professional fishing before, but it's not realistic at all, or based on any real fishing game that are like very high quality on Steam and things like that. You are more inclined to stay on that game because they make it so that if you don't stay on the game for a certain period of time, then you don't make progress. And that's one of the trap players fall for, but it keeps them on their game. Think about all the things I've said in this video. The way the games are structured, the way they learned these skills and techniques from looking at other references of things. The way that you can 10x the quality of your game if you actually just look up a video on something that you like, study it for like 10-20 minutes, and then break it up into blocks, or like you block it out essentially so it's easier for your developers or yourself to recreate. Make it, test it, and optimize it so it's smooth and works for said project that you're working on. After that, you focus on the visuals. Strongest Battlegrounds wouldn't be big if the combat wasn't fluent. Any Battleground game, I feel like, wouldn't be big if the combat wasn't fluent. I can't think of a single one that doesn't have at least decent combat at the very least. So write this down. Implement it into your own project. And join me on my journey. We're going to be posting as much as I humanly can. I wanted to stick with a day-to-day schedule, and I will. I have a lot of things pre-recorded. I missed one day, and I apologize. I'll make sure that that does not happen once more. Now, subscribe to my channel, join the journey, check out the Discord in the description, and I will see you in the next one.